What's up, y'all? It's your girl Zaria Shantae Puri, and we're back with another video. Before we hop into this video, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Give this video a share, and make sure y'all turn on my post notifications so y'all can be notified every time your girl drops a video. Why am I over here acting like it's Fruit Ninja? One of the biggest lies that we tell ourselves is that we can have a completely different life while staying the exact same person. We say we want better relationships, more confidence, more peace, more success, more opportunities, more money, but then we get uncomfortable the second things start changing. The truth is, leveling up isn't always about adding things to your life. It's about letting things go. It's letting go of old habits, letting go of old versions of yourself, old ways of thinking, sometimes even old relationships, because everybody loves the idea of growth until growth requires sacrifice. So if you're in a season where life feels different, people are acting different, you're spending more time alone, you're saying no more often, and you're questioning the things that used to feel normal, this video is for you. One thing that I've had to learn is that every version of your life requires a different version of you. The habits that got you here will not necessarily get you to where you're trying to go. The mindset that protects you in one season might limit you in the next. And I feel like that's something that's very difficult because as human beings, we crave familiarity. Even when familiarity is hurting us. It sounds like I'm saying that wrong. Familiarity, even when it keeps us stuck. A lot of the times we'd rather hold on to what's comfortable instead of stepping into the unknown. But one thing about it, and two things for sure, growth does not happen in comfort. Growth starts happening when you start making decisions that old you wouldn't make. Maybe that means going to bed earlier. Maybe that means being more disciplined. And if you watch my vlogs, you know this is something that I've been trying to work on. Maybe that means choosing your goals over instant gratification. Maybe it means finally walking away from situations that you outgrown. Whatever it is, change will always feel uncomfortable before it feels rewarding. And if you're uncomfortable right now, that doesn't mean that you're automatically doing something wrong. Sometimes discomfort is proof that you are evolving. Sometimes discomfort is proof that you're no longer willing to settle for the things that you once accepted. And I feel as though that is a beautiful thing. I personally think that one of the most beautiful skills that you can develop is learning how to love your own company. Not tolerate it, but actually enjoy it. Because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people think being alone is terrifying. And it's not because they hate being alone, but because being alone and sitting with themselves forces them to meet themselves. There is no distraction. There's no constant validation. There's no noise. No one telling you who you are. It's just you. And for a lot of us, that's uncomfortable. But honestly, I believe that some of the biggest breakthroughs happen in solitude. When you're by yourself, you start to figure out what you actually like. You start to figure out what you actually want. You start to figure out what you actually believe. Not what your friends want, not what your friends believe, not what social media tells you, not what your family expects. You. I think a lot of people stay connected to things that no longer serve them because they're afraid of what their life would look like without them. But sometimes God has to isolate you for a season so that you can begin to hear yourself think again, and so that you could begin to hear him again. Sometimes we get so lost in the noise of life that we can't even hear God speaking to us anymore. So if you're spending more time alone lately, do not automatically assume that it is wrong. Maybe you're being given an opportunity to build a relationship with the one person that you will spend the rest of your life with, yourself. And another thing that I've had to learn over the years is that having boundaries is not selfish, because for some reason a lot of us were taught that being a good person means constantly sacrificing ourselves. Always saying yes, always being understanding, always accommodating, always being available. But eventually you realize that always sacrificing yourself for other people does not make you more kind. It makes you exhausted. Because I truly believe that there is a difference between having compassion and having boundaries. There is a difference between being supportive and being taken advantage of. There is a difference between loving people and neglecting yourself. And if you're someone who struggles with people pleasing, I really want you to hear this. Every time you say yes to something that you don't want to say yes to, you are saying no to yourself. Every time you ignore your needs to keep someone else comfortable, you are saying to yourself that your needs no longer matter. And over time, that creates resentment. Not because you're a bad person, but because you've spent so much time carrying everybody else that nobody is carrying you. Because I think that sometimes the most loving thing that you can honestly do is say no. And sometimes the healthiest thing that you can do is step back. And sometimes the strongest thing that you can do is disappoint people who really only benefited from your lack of boundaries. I think that a lot of people confuse self-respect with selfishness. They are not the same thing. Selfishness says only I matter. Self-respect says I matter too. And baby, that is a huge difference. You deserve to pursue your goals. You deserve to rest. You deserve to prioritize your mental health. You deserve to protect your peace. You deserve to choose yourself. And it's not because you're better than anyone else, but it is because your life matters too. And the reality is nobody can live your life for you. Nobody can heal for you. Nobody can chase your dreams for you. Nobody can become the person that you are meant to be for you. That is your responsibility. And sometimes fulfilling that responsibility means making decisions that nobody else will understand. And that's okay. Not everybody is supposed to understand your journey. And I tell people this all the time. The vision that God gave you, everybody else cannot see that. And your job is not to make everybody else comfortable. Your only job is to become the person you were called to be. So if there's one thing that I would like you to take away from this video, it's this. You cannot level up and remain the same person. Growth requires change. Change requires discomfort. And discomfort requires courage. So if life feels different right now, if you're outgrowing people, if you're setting boundaries, if you're spending more time alone, if you're choosing yourself for the first time, don't panic, because I think that you might be exactly where you're supposed to be. Because every new chapter starts with leaving something behind. And maybe this chapter isn't about losing people. Maybe it's about finding yourself. Thank y'all for watching this video. If it resonated with you in any way, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I would love to hear in the comments what season of growth you are currently in. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.